Alrighty, folks, you know I'm feeling great on a Wednesday morning because I'm now 9-2 in my last $11.99 daily best plays on my premium page. I had the Astros minus $1.15 on the money line yesterday. They got the job done 14-1. Jose Altuve had a staggering 3 home runs in the ball game. Actually came in the first 3 innings, right? Or it was like a 3-inning stretch where he had a home run each inning for 3 innings. Maldonado, he had a pair of dingers himself. And the only way you could access that winner is to be a member on my premium page. And the link for that site is in the description section below. And the good news is, if you missed out on that play here yesterday, well, I've got another $1.99 daily best play going off here today. And yep, you guessed it. It's only going to cost you just $1.99 to access that pick. And the good news is, folks, if you sign up for that package here today, you're going to get access to one of my personal premium selections every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just 6 cents a day. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my premium page. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. What I do on my premium page is I actually share with you which one of these free plays I like the best. And if you want to access every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days, you may want to think about, signing up for my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. Chairman members get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. I'm currently 9-2 in my last 11 daily best plays, 6-3 in my last 9 extra daily picks. And finally, guys, I'm a perfect, red hot 5-0 in my last 5 Chairman package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. Once again, I can't stress that enough. 5-0, my last 5 Chairman package picks on my premium page. I currently have over 680 members who are signed up and active on that premium page right now. And once again, it's patreon.com/BrockPage. The link for that site is in the description section below. And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Brewers at the Pirates, 12:35 East. Milwaukee's $1.85 on the road, totals 8.5. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee. No confirmed starter yet for Pittsburgh. I was seeing Mitch Keller, but other sites had no one. So I'm thinking maybe Mitchie Poo got scratched here. But I'll tell you what, regardless of who throws out the first pitch for Pittsburgh, the Pirates have done a nice job cashing in on the run line recently. Out of their last 10 ball games, the Buccos covered in 60% of those contests. When it comes to divisional games, the Pirates do actually have a winning record against the NL Central at home. Brian Reynolds leads the lineup in RBI and hits. Andrew McCutchen's second on the roster in runs scored. They're facing a Brewers club who lost 4 out of their last 7. They've had significant problems at the dish. The Brewers are averaging just 7.8 hits a game. They're actually dead last in the National League in that particular category. And no real shock here, folks. Milwaukee does have a tough time producing runs on the road. They're in the bottom 3 in the National League in runs per game while traveling. 4 out of Milwaukee's last 5 road games did stay under the total. They're also 63% to the under against the NL Central. Give me Pittsburgh plus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Next matchup, Twins, Guardians, 1:10 p.m. East. Minnesota's minus $1.20, totals 8.5. Joe Ryan for Minnesota, Gavin Williams for Cleveland. And even though Williams has some decent numbers, he does come into today's start with a 1-5 record. Now, the Guardians have also had a tough time scoring against Minnesota. They're averaging just 3.8 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings. As far as this season's concerned, well, the Guardians are averaging fewer runs a game at home than any other franchise besides one. They're facing Joe Ryan here today, who's got double-digit wins and 166 strikeouts. The righty also comes into today's start with a solid 1.12 whip. Now, as a pitching staff, there's only one other team who strikes out more batters a game than Minnesota right now. These guys, I'll tell you, strikeouts are up for the Twins. 6 out of Minnesota's last 10 meetings with Cleveland fell under the total. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. The under cashed in 4 out of Gavin Williams' last 6 starts for Cleveland. Give me Minnesota minus $1.20, under 8.5. Next matchup, Giants-Cubs, 2:20 p.m. East. Chicago's the $1.40 favorite at home, totals 10.5. Jordan Wicks for Chicago, Alex Wood for San Francisco. Now, Wood's got an ERA in the 4s, along with a 1.43 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Giants lost 6 out of their last 7. They were held to just 1 run or less 4 times during that stretch. That's not overly surprising. The Giants are a bottom 5 hit-producing team in the National League. They're facing Jordan Wicks, who's looked good in a very small sample size. The lefty's got an ERA of 180 through 10 innings of work. And even if Wicks struggles, the Cubbies love hitting in the friendly confines. They're a top 5 run-producing team in the National League at home. Cody Bellinger hits .319 with an OPS in the 900s. Nico Horner's the team leader in hits. Chicago's gone 62% to the over against NL opponents at home. Give me the Cubs minus 140, over 10.5. Next matchup, Blue Jays Athletics, 337 East. Toronto's minus $1.65, totals 8.5. Hyunjin Ryu for Toronto, JP Sears for Oakland. And out of 146 innings this year, the lefty Sears has recorded only 3 wins. As a matter of fact, Sears is just 3-11 on the year with an ERA of 4.60. When it comes to hitting the baseball, the A's are dead last in run production and hits. They're facing Hyunjin Ryu on the mound for Toronto, and he's looked good in limited action. The lefty's got a 2.48 ERA and a 1.03 whip. As a matter of fact, the Jays got the W in Ryu's last 5 straight starts. They scored an awful lot of runs during that stretch. The Jays amassed 45 total runs during that short span I just mentioned. Vlad Guerrero's got the most home runs and RBI on the roster. George Springer's the club leader in runs scored. When it comes to the total in this one, the Jays averaged 5.1 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings with Oakland. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. And no real shock here, folks. The over cashed in 60% of those head-to-head gatherings I just mentioned. Now, out of Ryu's last 6 starts this year with Toronto, the over did cash 5 times. Give me Toronto minus $1.65, over 8.5. Next game, Rockies D-backs, 3:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus 220, totals 9.5. Zach Davies for Arizona, Chris Flexen for Colorado. Now, Flexen's recorded just 1 win with the Rockies this year. He's got an ERA close to 6 with Colorado. And even if he does throw well here today, the Rockies don't score many runs away from Denver. They're dead last in the National League in run production on the road. They're facing an Arizona club who's scored a good amount of runs for Zach Davies recently. Out of the righty's last 5 starts, Arizona's amassed 34 total runs. Corbin Carroll leads the roster in runs scored. He's also got a team-best wins above replacement average of 5 flat. Meanwhile, teammate Christian Walker, he's got 30 home runs and 90 RBI. The D-backs are averaging over 5.3 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Colorado, having little issue touching home plate against their divisional foes. Now, they also went 6-3 to the over in their last 9 Zach Davies starts. Give me Arizona minus 1.5, over 9.5. Next ball game, Phillies Padres, 4:10 p.m. East. Philadelphia's minus a buck and a quarter on the road, totals 8 runs. Zach Wheeler for the Titans, Michael Wacha for San Diego. Now, Wacha's been very tough to hit against this year for San Diego. The righty's 11-2 with an ERA in the 2s. And no real shock here, folks. Wacha's got a solid 1.12 whip. When the Pods are at Petco, they've really made it tough for opposing batters. The Friars allow a league-low 3.8 runs a game on their own diamond. Of course, most of their lack of success this year has been because of their bats. Pitching has been fine. Now they're facing a Philly team who does still tend to struggle with strikeouts in the box, especially on the road. Philadelphia's in the bottom 3 in the National League in strikeouts per game while traveling. Meanwhile, as a team, the Phils took the loss in 4 out of their last 6 ball games. And their pitchers gave up 40 total runs during that time frame. We'll have to see if Zach Wheeler can power through that, although the Phils have actually performed poorly for the most part in his most recent outings. The Phils actually took the loss in 5 out of their last 8 Zach Wheeler starts. 8 out of Philadelphia's last 10 meetings with San Diego did get over the total. The Pods went 5-1 to the over in their last 6 Michael Wacha starts. Give me the Padres plus 105, over 8. Next ball game, Red Sox Rays, 6:40 p.m. East. Tampa Bay is minus a buck 60, totals 8 runs. Tyler Glasnow for Tampa Bay, Nick Pivetta for Boston. Despite a good amount of strikeouts for Pivetta, he has allowed his fair share of runs. The righty's got himself an ERA of 4.49. This Bo Sox pitching staff also has a tough time keeping runners off the base paths. They're in the bottom 5 in hits allowed per game. They're facing a Tampa club who has little issue touching home plate. These guys are a top 3 run-producing lineup in the American League. And pitching-wise, well, these guys have been unhittable at the Trop this year. The Rays are allowing a league-low 7.5 hits a game in their own building. Starting pitcher Tyler Glasnow, he's been no exception to that. The righty's currently got himself an ERA in the low 3s, along with a 1.05 whip. And oddly enough, 4 out of Tampa's last 5 ball games at Tropicana Field got over the total. Meanwhile, Boston went 9-1 to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Rays minus a buck 60, over 8. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Dodgers Marlins, 6:40 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus a buck 65 on the road, totals 9 runs. Lance Lynn for the Dodgers, JT Chargois for Miami. And out of 33-plus innings, JT's yet to record a loss. He's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.23 whip. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Marlins are one of the better home hitting teams in the game. They're in the top 5 in the National League in hits per contest in their own building. Of course, a lot of that is thanks to the best hitter in the game. Of course, I'm talking about Luis Arraez, who hits a league-best 355 at the dish. That's 355 batting average. He's officially got 184 hits on the season. Meanwhile, teammate Jorge Soler, he's got the 6th most homers in the big leagues. They're facing Lance Lynn, who, although he's looked real good in Dodger blue, I'm not sure if that's the Lance Lynn we're going to see in the postseason down the home stretch here, because the righty's got an overall ERA this year close to 6, and that's for the entire season. Now, as a pitching staff, these Dodger pitchers, collectively, they have struggled away from home this year, believe it or not. They're actually in the bottom 5 in the National League in runs allowed while traveling. The Dodgers did see their last 3 road games all get over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Fish went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me Miami plus 1.5, over 9. Next ball game, Mariners Reds, 6:40 p.m. East. Seattle's minus a buck 55, totals 10.5. Logan Gilbert for the M's, Lyon Richardson for Cincinnati. And through a dozen innings of work this year, the righty Richardson's got an ERA close to 7. The Reds have also had a tough time in their interleague home games. They actually have a losing record against the American League at the Great American Ballpark. Now they're facing a Seattle club on the other side who's obviously had some excellent pitching this year because these guys walk fewer batters per nine than any other staff in the game. Excellent control, not a lot of free passes. They're actually allowing fewer runs a game than any other team besides one. And a lot of that success is thanks to guys like Logan Gilbert. The righty's got a dozen wins on the year along with 162 strikeouts. Now Gilbert's also got an ERA in the threes along with a 1.05 whip. Now Seattle went 60% to the under in their last 10. Cincinnati saw 5 out of their last 10 stay under the line. Give me the Mariners minus $1.55, under 10.5. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Tigers at the Yankees, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The New York Yankees are minus $1.65, totals 8.5. Clark Schmidt for New York, Matt Manning for Detroit. Now Manning's got an ERA in the threes, along with a solid 1.03 whip. And these Tiger pitchers have also been tough to hit against on the road. They're actually walking just 2.6 batters a game while traveling. That's nearly a league best. They're facing a Yankee club on the other side of things who continues to hit poorly. These guys are actually averaging fewer hits a game at home than any other franchise besides one. So, definitely want to think about that one there. That's interesting. And I'll tell you what, as good as their pitching's been, Clark Schmidt, he's been a bit of a weak link in this rotation. The righty's got an ERA of 4.56 along with a 1.34 whip. Now, out of the Bombers' last 10 ball games, 8 out of the Bombers' last 10 fell under the total. Meanwhile, Detroit on the other side, they went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me Detroit plus 1.5, under 8.5. Next matchup, Cards, Braves, 7:20 Eastern start time. Atlanta's minus 280, totals 9 runs. Spencer Strider for Atlanta, Dakota Hudson for St. Louis. And even though Hudson's got a solid record, it's mostly been because of the bats. Hudson comes into today's start with an ERA in the 4s, along with a 1.30 whip. Now, this Cardinal pitching staff also gives up more hits a game than any other team besides Colorado. They're facing a heavy-hitting Atlanta lineup who leads the majors in run production. Matt Olson's got a league-high 114 RBI. He's also the league leader with 45 home runs. Meanwhile, Ronald Acuna's touched home plate 123 times. He's currently got a staggering wins above replacement average of 6.8. And, their starting pitcher here today, he's pretty good as well. Of course, I'm referring to Spencer Strider, who's recorded 16 wins this year and 245 strikeouts. I'm so excited, I can barely spit it out. 16 recorded wins, 245 strikeouts for Strider. Atlanta went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, 6 out of St. Louis's last 10 outings got over the total as well. Give me the Braves minus 1.5, over 9. Next ball game, White Sox Royals, 7:40 p.m. East. Kansas City's minus $1.20 at Kauffman Stadium. Totals 9.5. Jordan Lyles for Kansas City. Tuki Toussaint for Chicago. And despite having a rough year, it ain't for a lack of strikeouts. The righty Toussaint is averaging a strikeout an inning. As a matter of fact, this Chicago pitching staff is in the top 5 in punch-outs per game. They're facing a Royals lineup who's struggled at the plate for most of the year, despite their recent success. And for the exception of their last 5 outings, this is easily one of the worst hitting lineups in the game. They're in the bottom 3 in the majors in run production. And even if they're good at the dish here today, there is a good chance starting pitcher Jordan Lyles, pretty good chance he's going to screw it up. The righty's recorded 15 losses this year. He's got an ERA of 6.29. Now, Now, 6 out of KC's last 8 ball games at Kauffman Stadium got over the total. The White Sox saw their last 5 straight on the road get over the number themselves. Give me Chicago plus $1, over 9.5. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Astros at the Rangers, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Texas is minus $1.15, totals 8.5. Max Scherzer for Texas, Justin Verlander for Houston. And as good as these pitchers are, well, both clubs have seen a good amount of overs recently. Houston's gone 6-1 to the over in their last 7 road games. Texas is 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. And as much as I'd like to handicap this one for you, this game's being featured as my daily consensus poll on my premium page. So if you want to see whether the Brock Page Nation is riding with Houston on the road, or if they like Scherzer and the Rangers at Globe Life Field, this game's once again being featured as my daily consensus poll on patreon.com/BrockPage. It costs just $3.49 to access this poll every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just 11 cents a day. But wait, you're not just getting a poll. You're getting plays too. You're actually going to receive 2 premium selections every single day during that time frame for the next 30 days, absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase of the poll. So once again, you're going to be receiving my daily consensus poll, my extra daily pick, and my daily best play every single day for just 11 cents a day if you sign up for that package here today. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, give me the over 8.5. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that Orioles-Angels game, 9:38 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's minus $1.30, totals 8.5. Kyle Gibson for Baltimore, Patty Sandoval for Los Angeles. Now, Patrick's recorded 11 losses on the year. He's also got a 1.45 whip. And if you think the Angels can outscore the O's, just keep in mind that they've had problems at the plate with Baltimore in recent gatherings. The Angels have been held to just 3.6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Baltimore. And we could certainly see some more of that here today with Kyle Gibson on the mound. The Baltimore righties recorded 13 wins on the year. He has 137 strikeouts. And now the O's are also very good at the plate, especially on the road. They're a top 5 run-producing team away from their own ballpark. Adley Rutschman's the club leader in hits. Anthony Santander's got the most RBI. 8 out of Baltimore's last 10 contests did get over the total. The Angels went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me Baltimore minus $1.30, over 8.5. And that, folks, we're going to go ahead and jump into our quick pick recap. Give me the Pirates plus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Twins minus $1.20, under 8.5. Cubbies minus 140, over 10.5 runs. I'm 9-2 on my last 11 daily best plays on my premium page. And the good news is I have another daily best play going off here today. The link is in my bio. Toronto Blue Jays minus 165, over 8.5. Diamondbacks minus 1.5, over 9.5. Padres plus 105, over 8. Rays minus 160, over 8. Marlins plus 1.5, over 9 runs. Seattle Mariners minus 155, under 10.5. Tigers plus 1.5, under 8.5. Atlanta Braves minus 1.5, over 9. Chicago White Sox plus $1, over 9.5. Give me the over 8.5 in the Astros-Rangers game. With my next and final free pick, give me the Orioles minus $1.30, over 8.5.